Hi, it's Dwyer, gamblersadvisory.com, here with some comments on the upcoming bantamweight shootout between Vic Darchinyan and Abner Maris. Before I do that, let me waste about a minute just talking about some philosophical things. Last night, Tom Brady and the New England Patriots took out the New York Jets. There was a lot of trash talk before the match involving Jet coach Rex Ryan. And then when the game started, Tom Brady methodically hit several different receivers on his way to a 45-3 blowout. Now, I personally believe, this is how I observe sports and interpret sports. I personally believe that when Tom Brady is on his game, like he was last night, I think he's able to zone out the trash talk. He's able to zone out the crowd. For him, the sport is literally mathematical, right? It's math. In other words, when he fades back in the pocket and he looks to his left, he's thinking, where's the safety? Where's my receiver? What's the route? What's the coverage? Where do I have to throw the ball? If it's there, he throws the ball where he needs to. If it's not, he turns to the other side. At no time in his performance do I believe that he thinks about or worries about the trash talk before the match, the egos involved, and things like that. In other words, at the top tier of the sport, and that's where I put Tom Brady. I think he's the best quarterback in the National Football League, the best I've seen since Joe Montana. And I think the world of Montana. I think for the Tom Brady's of the world, the sport really becomes about doing equations, just adding up the numbers, right? In boxing, I believe at the end of the day, the technicians that I see in the ring, the high end of the sport, and I'm talking about, and I'm going to name guys I consider to be high end technicians. I'm not going to name everyone, right? The Floyd Mayweathers of the world, the Sergio Martinezes of the world, the Dmitry Pirogs of the world, the James DeGales of the world. I really believe that these guys, when they are in the ring, Bernard Hopkins, I believe that these guys are literally just adding up numbers. In other words, when Floyd Mayweather walks into the ring, right, I believe he's a mathematician. Forget what the crowd's doing. Forget the stare down in the middle of the ring with the other fighter. Forget the pre-fight hype. Forget the pre-fight comments. Even forget the comments that Floyd has made before the fight. I believe that in the ring, when Floyd Mayweather is fighting Sugar Shane Mosley, I think Floyd Mayweather's just doing a mental checklist. His hands are this way. I have this blocked. I have that blocked if he throws it. He's open for this. He's open for that. I'm going to shoot this. I'm going to shoot that. I'm going to cover up this way. If he hurts me, I'm going to grab him. I'm going to clinch. I think literally all he's doing on fight night is executing. You want a great example of that? Take a look at Sergio Martinez's back foot, right? His back foot, very revealing, right before he knocks out Paul Williams. In fact, the 5 seconds before he knocks out Paul Williams, you're going to see Martinez doesn't even cross his legs. He just keeps moving that back foot back so his feet are in position. He knew he was going to throw that left before Williams, ever figured things out. He knew Williams's hand, which had been up, was going to come down. He had figured that out. For him, it was just plugging in the numbers. Now, let's talk about Vic Darchinyan and Abner Maris. I believe these two guys are completely different interpretations of the sport. I believe that Vic Darchinyan is a macho guy who's passionate about the sport. His interpretation of the sport is a tough guy interpretation. He believes he's the baddest man in the ring. He's a southpaw. He has that big left cocked. His attitude is, I have the bigger gun. I am the more badass guy. I'm the tough man in the ring. I have the gun. I'm going to walk around the ring waving the gun. Then I'm going to hit you with it. Right? I'm going to pull the trigger. Right? That's his whole thing. The way he stands, the way he walks, he's not too worried about telegraphing punches. Everyone in the arena knows he's going for the knockout. Vic couldn't care less about the judges because in his eyes, the fight's never going to go the distance. He's not interested in winning the fight. He actually wants to hurt the other guy in winning the fight. Um, he believes what he says before the fight. He believes he's the more passionate man in the ring. Now that's very different. That's very different than the Tom Brady, Floyd Mayweather school of thought. That's the Abner Maris school of thought. Very mathematical. You see it in his personality. Abner Maris is a practical joker. He's friendly. He's friendly with numerous fighters. He shows up to press conferences. He's relaxed. In the ring, this guy is an elite technician. And he is elite to the point where he's hard to hit. He's in your face throwing a lot of punches. The punches are coming to different sides of your body. There's no pattern to it. He's not a pattern fighter, even though he's throwing a very high volume of punches. He's reading you, right? Just like Tom Brady reads a defense, he's reading you. He's making adjustments as the fight goes along. Now, let me just say, his last fight was against Yanni Perez. I actually picked Perez in that fight. I looked at the size of the guys and I knew the history between the two fighters. Perez, of course, was a friend of Maris because Maris is a friend with practically everyone, right? You know the guy. He's happy-go-lucky. He's easygoing. Yanni Perez even used to live with Maris, and Yanni Perez physically much taller than Maris. Perez can match Maris in volume. Perez, of course, is at the top of his game right now. He had just beaten Joseph Agbeko. Then I saw the fight. That fight was a draw, officially. Fight was a draw. But I was looking at Maris and I realized, wow, this guy is immensely talented. Not just talented, he's immensely talented. And the fight was interesting because since the fighters knew each other, since the fighters had fought each other as amateurs, both guys knew the hand speed the other guy was going to do, the way the other guy moved. They weren't surprised at all because, of course, they even had sparred together before the fight, right? You have to get under the hood on these matchups and figure out the past history. You know what? Vic Darchinyan is not going to have that luxury, right? Darchinyan hasn't been in the ring with Abner Maris. He's not going to have the advantages that Yanni Perez had in the last fight. And Darchinyan, quite frankly, is not a technician. He telegraphs his punches, right? You can read his body and figure out what he's going to throw. There is an excellent video on YouTube done by Smitty, James Smith, where he interviews Nonito Donaire, who is a boxer's boxer. And Donaire, who beat Vic Darchinyan, actually in the video deconstructs Vic Darchinyan and talks about how Darchinyan moves his lead foot forward before he throws his big left hand, how you can tell off of how Vic is leaning what he's going to throw, right? And Donaire even shows how he countered Vic Darchinyan. Now, my point to you is Donaire could not make a video like that about Abner Maris because Abner Maris, in my opinion, is a higher level fighter. He doesn't telegraph what he's going to throw. He throws combinations. It's not just one big punch. He bounces around the ring. He doesn't give fighters the opportunity to get in and out like Nino Donaire did against Vic Darchinyan. So, little secret here. I believe boxing is math, right? I've written this in How to Bet on Boxing. I believe boxing is math. I actually believe that it's the mathematicians who ultimately rule boxing. I like Abner Maris in this fight. Maris is favored, right? He should be favored. I like Abner Maris in this fight. The straddle is Maris to win, straddled against Vic Darchinyan by knockout. The only way I see Darchinyan winning the fight is by knockout. Darchinyan always has that possibility because, quite frankly, pound for pound, Darchinyan hits as hard as Mike Tyson. In fact, that's the Vic Darchinyan persona. You'll notice it before the fight. Just staring down the fighter before the fight is very important to Vic Darchinyan. He really does think he's Mike Tyson. But, my point to you is simply tough men ultimately, at the end of the day, lose to elite technicians because the technician is actually adaptive reactive and has already anticipated what the tough guy is going to do. And Abner Maris, and I know he is relatively unknown, but he's actually an elite technician who is one of the best technicians in boxing. I like Maris to win this fight, straddled against Darchinyan by KO. Let me quickly talk about the odds. I've seen Maris from anywhere from a minus 230 to a minus 275. Darchinyan is roughly a 2-to-1 underdog. Keep in mind, if he's a 2-to-1 underdog, then Darchinyan by KO, you should be getting at least a plus 275 to a plus 300. So here, my recommendation is, since I'm convinced Maris wins the fight, is that you just insure up to the amount of the bet. In fact, you might not even want 100% insurance so that you're able to make a profit. So if you take obviously, if the spread works for you, if Maris to win is a minus 230 and you're able to get, a plus 275 on Darchinyan, then you could literally throw equal money at both and make out well, right? If the spread is narrower, then you might want to only insure yourself 50% on the Darchinyan by KO insurance portion of the prop. But make no mistake, I think the most likely outcome is Maris to win the fight. The next likely outcome would be Darchinyan by KO. The outcome I'd eliminate would be Darchinyan by decision. I just don't see it happening. He's in with a better fighter. Let me know what you think. Leave your comments for me here on YouTube. Visit us at gamblersadvisory.com. And also, don't be afraid at all to tell me how you feel about my boxing as math belief, because I really do feel that when you see a Sergio Martinez, for example, I think the fact that he's a analytical math type is very important because it means that he can fight you anywhere and not be overcome by the surroundings, right? He's in there looking at the situation and adding up numbers and then responding accordingly. He's not caught up in the hype. He's not intimidated in the slightest. I believe the same can be said for Abner Maris. Let me know what you think. Hope to hear from you. Thanks for watching the video.